He's more than an athlete. He's an artist.
I think you're in love, Ron.
Shut up.
Victor, I love you. Victor, I do.
When we're apart, my heart beats only.
Harry Potter!
Hey, my eyes aren't glistening with the ghost of my past.
I'm not an owl.
Technically, it's a fact.
Ah, c'est magnifique.
Kill the stag.
I'm on a Marty Crouch!
Behaving like a babbling, bumbling band of baboons.
Junior.
Hey, everybody. Just want to hop on here before the episode begins to give you a little context for what you're about to watch or listen to, depending on where you are enjoying this podcast. But this is a part 2 of our Best of Book 4 coverage. So we've already done part 1. That episode is out. If you haven't checked that out already, go do that. In part 1, we talked about our favorite lines of the Goblet of Fire. But in this episode, Stephanie, Julian, and I, we talk about our favorite chapter of the Goblet of Fire. We also spend a lot of time on the best and worst movie changes in the Goblet of Fire, also known as the best and worst Transfiguration. And then we get into things like our favorite magical creature, item, or spell, our favorite character, and a fun little bonus thing at the end. So that is what you can expect to hear in this episode. If you like this episode, which I hope you do, please be sure to follow, give it a rating, a like on whatever podcast platform you're listening to. You can also share it with all your Potter friends. That would be helpful. And if you want to hear more from this podcast, you can check out our exclusive content on Patreon at patreon.com/retoldpodcast. But without further ado, enjoy the episode. All right. And moving on now to our favorite chapters of the book. And so we kind of highlighted this before, during our favorite lines, we kind of mentioned them. And I just like calling this out because especially in these later books, there's so many chapters. How do you pick? How do you decide? How about this time, Stephanie, you kick us off. What was your favorite chapter of this book?
You don't understand how hard this was because this whole book is my absolute favorite. Like I've listened to the Audible like 4 times in the last 2 months. Like it is literally my favorite book. So choosing one chapter was painful.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose based on the title because I had a really hard time just narrowing it down. But I picked chapter 22 because I liked that it was called The Unexpected Task because it was where Harry and Ron have to find the guts to ask a girl to the Yule Ball. And it's like of all the things they're facing, becoming teenagers, hormones, Harry dealing with the Triwizard Tournament, now he has to ask a girl out. And the entire chapter is hilarious. He is willing and eager and unafraid to face Lord Voldemort, but he cannot ask a girl to the ball. And it's like, Harry, why are you so adorable? Like
he has a better record against Voldemort than he does against asking girls out.
Yes. Yeah, so that's why I picked that one because I was like, you know what? I love that it's called The Unexpected Task because he just wasn't ready for it.
Poor guy. I love that.
I know. Bless him.
Bless him. I'll go next. My favorite chapter of this whole book, and I shout out, the way I had to approach this one was not consider the audiobook version because I listened to the new audiobook this time around and it brought some of these chapters to life in ways I've never considered before. Freaking Mr. Darcy's voice acting for Voldemort is out of this world. He's so good. I love how lazy and like megalomaniac he sounds when he does Voldemort. So good. And then especially in the next chapter too, when Mr. Tumnus goes crazy as Barty Crouch Jr. or as Mad-Eye Moody crushes it. That to me was the best performance in the whole book.
Yeah.
But as far as like my favorite chapter, just content wise, I would say it was the second task. And the reason I say it's the second task, one, it's jam-packed. It's a really big chapter that covers a lot of stuff. Like they have the unicorns and Care of Magical Creatures beforehand. You have, it's so cool because it doesn't even begin with the task. It's called the second task, but goes way further back than that. There's so much content there. You also get them studying for the task the night before. You get Dobby rescuing him. All those funny names of books that they're looking for as they study are also funny to me as well. Like Saucy Tricks for Tricky Sorts. That was one of the name of the books. There's a lot of clever little titles there. The task itself, very well done. And then the ending of that chapter as Harry is like, I love how ticked off he is at the people he just rescued because they are criticizing him. Oh, you idiot. You thought Dumbledore was going to let people die. And he's like, well, that's a funny way of saying thank you. Like, you weren't even there. You don't know what I was going
Why wouldn't
through.
I? That's the thing that's so
Yeah.
crazy.
You've
I'm
been to
like,
this school.
y'all,
There's a 3-headed dog in one of the rooms.
yeah, like the number of times that we could have, I got bit by a basilisk, friends. Like, you want me to believe that somehow I'm not in mortal danger or that they're not going to put us in mortal danger? Like that.
And people freaked out because they kept saying people die in this tournament. And because I took it seriously, you're going to get upset with
me. They changed the
me.
rules so that I shouldn't be in it to begin with because people were getting hurt. So, like, don't gaslight me, friends.
Yeah, I loved how angry he got, like just annoyed. And then there was something of, I'm trying to remember saying, there was some line where he says, like, Harry was starting to wish he didn't save her now. Like, oh, so that's my favorite chapter. Julian, hit us with it.
Chapter 33, Death Eaters. Here's the thing. The idea, and again, we're going back. I call, on Critical Magic Theory, I call Voldemort Voldiva because I think he is so dramatic. And in addition to getting his body done, he shows back up and is like, call him back. And when I'm in class, I was like, call all the girls. And he just calls them to the graveyard. And he's just like, let me spin you a tale. Like, we're in this graveyard. You all thought I was gone. And he's like, joke's on you, I'm not. It's literally like one of those things where it's so incredible to just be like, okay, so I've lured my arch nemesis here. That's not enough. Killed an innocent child. Not enough. Body back. Not enough. Call all the girls. Not enough. I'm going to shame all of them. I'm going to go one by one and be like, remember that time you all betrayed me? Stabbed me in the back? I do. Never forgot. Never forgot. And you know what? You're all garbage. And I'm going to go and I'm going to tell each and every one of you why you suck so bad. And then I'm going to shame you, Lucius, especially because you've been out here living it up, I'm hearing. And
trying to be the new me. There's only one me.
There's only one me. You better get it together. And then he's like, and if that wasn't enough, I'm going to tell you the entire story of my downfall. And then we're going to have a little duel. Like, it's dinner, it's a show, it's like, and it's so.
And you know what? Make it fair. Give him his wand. Give him his wand.
Yeah, exactly. And then to like be so pandering and condescending and be like, Dumbledore wouldn't want you to, like, it's so, I love it so much because it's so dramatic. And I just think, like, I haven't listened to the new Audible versions.
You're
but
in for a treat.
Matthew I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh.
But I love the Jim Dale version of it because he's so like you can tell that there's a way that Voldemort really wants them to appreciate how, like, what a feat he's accomplished, both as a way to be like, never doubt me again, but also never doubt me again because if you do, I will kill you.
You don't understand. I'm sick with it. Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of that girl and you all are playing games. And there's something about it that I just love so, so, so much because, I mean, this is another moment where he doesn't really, this is probably the most dialogue he ever gives is this one moment in this graveyard. And it's also so fascinating to me because they're all standing in the graveyard where his dad's bones are, but none of them know that. And it's so like, talk about a power play. I mean, yeah, the whole thing is just amazing, but I just love the drama of it all because it could easily be on Bravo.
Yeah, I like in the movie how he punks each one of them out, like taking off their mask.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You don't deserve this. You don't deserve this.
And
Look at me with your face.
He's
Show
like,
me your real
I confess myself disappointed. I'm like, what a line. What a thing to say.
My favorite part of the whole chapter is the repetition of, and I ask myself,
Yes.
and I answer myself. It's
And,
like sometimes you make an argument in your head before you face somebody, and you
Yeah.
come up with great comebacks and one-liners.
Yeah.
And he goes, they're not going to be smart enough to follow the argument the way I want to. So I'm just going to parrot their side for them so I
Yeah.
can still say the cool things I want to say.
Yeah, I just love. He's like, I have an audience, and I haven't had one of those for a while. So buckle up, friends, because we're in
I've
for
been
a
talking to
wild ride.
Wormtail.
Yeah,
To Wormtail for so
and
long.
Nagini. So we've really not had the best company. So now that I've got you all back here because you have nowhere else to be, guess what? This is the Voldy show.
It's like when I will tell my wife a story, and then she'll be with me as I retell that story to everybody else. So he's already told these all to Wormtail and Nagini. But now
Oh
he's
yeah,
gotta tell them.
absolutely. And I just imagine him sitting in the Riddle Manor, like running through what he's gonna say, and Wormtail's like, "Well, maybe you should tweak," and he's like, "Shut up! Like,
You know nothing.
you don't know anything. This is good stuff." But yeah, I love that chapter.
Very cool. Yeah, I love it. I like for all those reasons you said, and thank you too for shouting out the Jim Dale voice acting there, because obviously, like that was another thought that struck me going through the new versions was the Jim Dale one seems so much more impressive than it did before because it was still so full of life and magic and awe without all of what they did.
Yeah.
So we love
Yeah.
you, Jim. I don't know if he's still alive or not. Check him out. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he is.
I know he's getting up there in years.
He's not young.
Oh, but now moving on, listeners, to a controversial section, the best and worst transfiguration of the book. Julian, were you looking up if he's still alive?
He's still with us.
Yay!
He's 90 years old. But
Good for you,
he's
Jim.
still with us. Yeah.
Somebody see if he has a Horcrux around somewhere. But
it's the audiobooks.
They'll never all 7 of them.
Okay.
Yep, we're on to something. But the best and worst transfiguration. And so these are, at the end of every chapter coverage, I have the transfiguration section, which highlight differences that the movies made from the books. Now, I'm of the opinion, I'm a movie fan. I enjoy the movies. There are some things that the movies did that I think they did really well. And there's some things that they did not do well. Obviously, in adaptation, it's very rare that it's going to be better than the original. And I think it's universal opinion. The movies are not better than the books, but I still like to give them their flowers. So we'll start on a high note, the best transfiguration. And I think let's go first with Julian. What do you think is the best transfiguration that the movies made?
This is really hard because
it was the hardest one for me as well.
Out of here that I'm like, once we get to the worst, I'm gonna have a lot to say.
I know. Stephanie told me that as well.
Me too.
But I don't know if this is a transfiguration insofar that it's like, I think it's the way that it translates on screen. But again, I'm back at the graveyard scene. Like, I think that scene, I think Ray Fiennes' acting is unbelievable. He's so good. I love, like you were saying, Barry, when he like snatches everybody's masks off. I just love that. I thought that scene was just like super well done. It's one of my favorite things when he does it, like maybe it's Maybelline like head thing when he comes out of the
new meme
cauldron,
going around now.
Yeah. I think that it's just so well done. I really, really love what they did with it. And it's probably as true to the book as we're probably going to get in this movie. And I really, really loved it. So yeah, that's my favorite. Like, I think what's the best thing.
An interesting change that they made in that scene that I'd never caught before was in the movie, when it's bone of the father, that's like an actual femur that they put in. But in the book, it's a trail of dust because obviously the bone would have disintegrated by then. I'd never caught that before. But Stephanie, what's your favorite? She told me before she didn't have one. Do you still have a best transfiguration?
If I stretch it, and I mean stretch it so thin it's not even pliable.
Like butter scraped over too much bread?
Okay,
not even enough. Not enough butter. There's not enough. Giving Neville his little bit of glory, getting the gillyweed for Harry, I can I can let it go,
You can
Yeah.
always try killing
but
me.
but it wasn't Neville.
I killed Harry Potter.
Yeah, I mean, we can give Neville a little bit of limelight because he needs it every now and then. But yeah, I'm very, very opinionated about this movie, and I try to be nice, and I find it difficult.
Oh, this is so fun. So here's the thing. I was sitting there going, I don't know what change I like the most because I found a lot of changes I enjoyed.
Oh.
But here's the thing. I gave myself a rule, and my rule was it couldn't be an addition because sometimes the
Mhm.
movies add things, and it
Yes.
couldn't be like, it couldn't be just something that was movie specific. Although one of them is, I had two that I had to say. So one of them, the dragon chase. I loved the chase, that it wasn't just going up and down in the first task and him like baiting the dragon out and then swiping underneath. Obviously, it was for the movie and it made it much more lively and fun. We get the "well done, dragon." That whole scene, a lot of fun. So that so much more suspense. And then he comes flying back over the crest of the hill in that moment of suspense, and the scream that Emma Watson gives of joy, like that emotion and the acting and her. She's like the emotional heart, I feel, of the fourth movie. She crushes it. So that is one of them. And then my other, I guess, honorable mention in the book, when Cedric dies, Harry is taken away and we don't see Amos go down and scream. But that iconic scream, that's my son, that's my boy, that might be the number one best piece of acting in the whole Harry Potter series. I love that moment. It's iconic. You know, it gets memed because it's like we hold nothing sacred in our culture now, but it is a beautiful, heart-wrenching moment. And so that would be my number one and two best transfigurations for this movie. But now going to the worst,
Let the games begin.
transfiguration, the thing that the movies did awful on, things that they should not have changed. Julian, start us off.
Okay. All right.
He's so
Lay
excited.
it out.
You
Here's
and
the
Snape
thing.
with the rolling up the sleeves.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the big thing for me is the omission of Bertha Jorkins makes me so mad because one, she's kind of the catalyst for the whole thing. Two, I think that there's something to be said about like we don't get a lot of women characters in these books, and then to take out one that actually was a character of consequence who also was a victim of like Barty Crouch Sr.'s like machinations. It just feels really, really bad because it removes some of the like ills of how we're meant to understand how everything transpires, right? Because by doing that, we don't get in the movie the fact that like Barty Crouch Jr. has been under the Imperius curse for a decade. We don't get any of that kind of background. So he just seems like this unhinged person who just, you know, I also hate, I love David Tennant, but I also was pissed because I was like, you're too old. And like, it just doesn't work in this context because it's supposed to be like a younger person who's doing all of this, which is kind of crazy. I'm also very upset about the fact that like they took out all of Hermione's crazy. Like
Yes.
all of it. They removed every bit of it. And I think like, I'm like,
This
no,
could
I
have been the
think
top five. We could have done a top five list for this.
it feels so like you've completely watered this character down in a way that like she put a woman in a jar. Like never forget. You know what I mean? Like we have to like it's
I got a jar of dirt.
yeah, it's like that feels so like that's an important part of who Hermione is. And then I'll end with this. The hair. It's too long and it makes me crazy. Now, and that has nothing to do with what they changed in the book. And I've heard all of the things about how they were just like, don't cut your hair. But everyone having the Justin Bieber swoop of the era, I just wish it wasn't the case.
That's so funny because
and
I love that change. That's one of the ones that I do like. So you know what? I'll give this to you as in a olive branch. so for starters, everything else 100% absolutely agree with. But on the hair, all right, I'll give you every other character, but Harry, his hair never looks crazy except in this movie, and that is a
No,
defining
Prisoner of
character.
Azkaban. Prisoner of Azkaban is peak messy hairy
That's
hair.
true. That's true.
But this
It-
one's even more messy.
It's just long.
It's just so long. So long.
Good call outs, though. I agree. Great. I think the one that stood out to me the most was when you get rid of the character of Bertha Jorkins, what you do is you turn a lot of Barty Crouch Sr.'s ills into just that of righteous anger. Like instead of this guy who actually is a hypocrite himself, as we talking about earlier, that did wicked, evil things too. So that's probably the best one to call out that I enjoyed.
And there are a lot of parallels between him and Voldemort and what they do and the lengths to which they're willing to go, and Sirius's discussion of that I think is really important, and also the lengths to which people are willing to go for the purposes of protecting their power and their name, and the fact that this is a person who put his own child under the Imperius curse, like. And then one more is the fact that they got rid of all of the Moody putting the kids under the Imperius curse.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That is actually a really important part.
You're making Stephanie
Harry's
so excited.
journey.
Right
I'm just like, yes.
Preach.
And so it's a very I just to water it down to the extent where none of the characters seemingly have any motivation to do much of anything because all of the motivation is intertangled, and then all the house elves being gone is also just unjust. We needed Winky. Justice for Winky.
Yes, justice for Winky.
Hey,
Okay,
they
I'm
are
done.
in for a half a second. Winky and Dobby, they're in for a very half second when you watch the movie, when they first show up to the Quidditch World Cup, because they were going to include them. And so there's a scene when they first show up, they're looking around and seeing all the cool stuff.
Oh, yeah,
World
it's
Cup.
like a blip.
You
on
see
the
two
screen.
alpacas
Yeah.
go by, and the house
And
elves
they're
are on
just-
the alpacas.
Why are there alpacas?
Okay, so many things are happening in this random UK more. Go off. Okay, I'm done.
Stephanie, what are your, I won't say worst transfiguration now, I'll say transfigurations.
The whole book. No, I get so upset because we don't get the depth of Barty Crouch Jr.'s story at all.
Yeah.
You don't understand. If you're watching that movie for the first time, you don't know who Barty Crouch Jr. is. You don't know how he ended up where he's at. You don't know anything about his father, like Julian said. You have no idea. And when Barty Crouch Jr. kills his father, we don't get the reason behind that. In the movie, he just shows up in the forest floor dead.
Dead. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Winky, obviously, drunk little Winky, she deserves her honorable mention because she's the one that's been taking care of Barty Crouch Jr. this whole time. She's the one that got him to the Quidditch World Cup because she begged her master to let him go because he hasn't seen sunlight in years and years. Oh, I could just keep on going. Again, like Julian said, Hermione, we don't get any of Hermione. She flatlines completely in the movie. And as I said, Hermione is feral when she's upset. And I wish we had just even a glimpse of that. Dobby doesn't get the accolades he deserves because he helps so much and he's not mentioned again. I could keep going. You don't get, it's I guess reading the book, you know that Mad-Eye Moody is a Death Eater undercover, but it's in the scene where he finds Harry stuck in the stairs, Moody realizes that Harry has his Marauder's map, and he's like, crap, he saw me. So I'm going to take this from him under the ploy that I need it, but I don't want him to see me in Moody's office later. There's just so much depth that we don't get, and that's why Goblet of Fire is my least favorite movie ever.
No.
Yes.
It's my most favorite of the franchise.
No.
All right. Very good. So, yeah, I super hate everything that happened in this movie. And here's one of the ones that I hate the most. I picked an omission and a change. So omission, the one that the thing that they left out the most, one of the things I thought about was not just as they translate it book to movie, things that I liked the most from the book that are gone, but I thought, what makes the most sense that they left out? And some of the things that we have mentioned, I do feel like, in my opinion, I know everybody else disagrees, but in my opinion, it tightens the story up, makes it more succinct. Like, one of the things this movie is great at, I feel, is compacting things. So, for example, the trial scene, putting all that information from 4 different memories into the one trial with Karkaroff, I thought was great. I thought they did a good job with that. I still enjoy. I would prefer to have all the other trial scenes, of course. But if they're going to compact it, I thought they did good. But there's certain things they left out that I thought it would have been so easy for you to include that. And for me, the biggest one was the obstacles in the maze. It's like, you could have very easily, like, you included vines doing stuff. You could have very easily included the Sphinx. You could have included at least the mist. Not even the mist. You could have included the mist. I got this question right on Quizitch. I'm trying to remember now. You also have the Scroots that were included. That's shout out to the Scroots. They were omitted from this book or from this movie. Okay. Listen, you guys are fake. I didn't hear either one of you mention the Scroots in your big list of omissions. All right.
Listen, I lovingly refer to them as the banged Scoots, like
That's
Rita
right.
Skeeter, because I love how she does that.
Yep. So I am upset over the things they did not include in the maze. I'm also upset that they had Harry and Cedric fight each other in the maze, because in the book they stayed compatriots. They stayed fighting for one another and helping Harry. Of course, Harry had that one moment of should I help or not? But he still saved Cedric from the, Shelob replica and all that. So I hated how the maze unfolded in the movie. But as far as an actual change, the transfiguration that I disliked a whole lot was, I'm not an owl. I know that's an iconic moment, but what happens in the book is so wonderful to Hermione's character, in that we see her walking Harry around the grounds. She shows up to the common room with some toast for him because she knows he's too nervous to go to the Great Hall. And she talks through everything. And she does say to him, you should talk to Ron about that yourself during that conversation. But she doesn't say it in a mean way. She goes, listen, that's a conversation you need to have with him, not me. So it's not this angry outburst from her. Again, I love the feral moments too, but those are her being angry for different reasons. And this is her being kind to her best friend. And I didn't like that change. So those are my 2 worst transfigurations of this movie. I agree full-heartedly. I'm not a person that says all the things they left out were good. In my head, I'm just thinking, movie-wise, let's try to make it make sense. But I still would rather have all the things you guys mentioned as well. So that's the best and worst transfiguration. All right, moving through last few sections, listeners, our favorite either magical creature, magical item, or spell that was introduced in this book. And so I'll go first on this one. I had 3 funny ones that I'll just quickly shout out. I like the blue bottle broom. The blue bottle broom that's advertised at the Quidditch World Cup. That's just a kid's toy broom. Sleek Easy's hair potion, mentioned in this book, that gave the Potters their wealth. And that part's not mentioned. That's an extra lore thing. But the Sleek Easy's hair potion, because I also remember my twin sister and older sister, they both have hair similar to Hermione. And I remember them saying, we would have loved to have had something like that. That'd be amazing. And I love the tiny little dragon, the little bitty dragon that Harry gets. I don't know what happens to him. I need to read a fanfic about it or something. We don't know what happened to the little horntail, but I love him. My favorite thing that was introduced in this book, though, just because of how cool it was, incredibly dark, incredibly twisted, but the reanimation potion was so cool to me. So I know I said spell, and it's it's a spell / potion, I guess, but bone of the father, flesh of the serpent, blood of the enemy. It's so genius and so cool and dark and twisted. And so that was my favorite thing that was brought in, of what could possibly bring Voldemort back we found a way, and it's this dark, mysterious potion that works. And I don't read it and go, what a cop out. That's how you bring him back. No, I read it and go, yeah, checks out, makes sense. And it's just really spooky. And that whole scene of Harry going, let it have drowned. Let it have drowned. Oh, so good. So that's my favorite. What about you guys? Let's start with Stephanie.
I'll give you 10 points, Barry, if you can tell me what you think my favorite creature was.
Oh, listen, there's
Come
a lot of things
on.
running through my head right now. Is it Winky?
No, the
No.
Nifflers.
The Niffler.
We
That's
actually
right.
get Nifflers. Yeah.
Put that in the worst
Julian,
Transfiguration. That wasn't included.
Nifflers, Julian, are my favorite creature ever. My license plate says Niffler.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Nifflers are my spirit animals.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the
yeah.
fact that they're actually in the book, I love that part so much. And that's all I put because I'm just so excited that Nifflers were there.
Yeah. That's a great. I love that there's like a whole lot of them. Like everybody
I
get a
know.
Niffler. What a cool class.
It's so cute. Yes, I want a class like that. Like I want a cuddly little Niffler to dig gold out of the ground. Yeah.
It's so funny to me that when Hagrid thinks his lessons are like his version of boring is actually like really exciting and fun for the students, you know, because when he's talking about the unicorns, he's like, and they're just silver when they're, you know, this age, they're gold when they're foals. It's whatever. I don't even care. But all the kids are like, this is amazing.
Yeah, he's like, they don't even do anything like almost kill you. So this is boring.
They don't even use that horn to spear you. What's going on? That'd have been fun. Julian, what about you?
Okay. So my favorite item is definitely the Crumb replica, only just because
Yes.
like after the Yule Ball, dismembered.
Yeah.
Oh, is it sentient? What happened? Ron wouldn't have cared. That would have made it better for Ron, I guess.
And then my favorite spell is one that I feel like we don't really ever see again, but it's the Point Me spell.
Oh yeah.
I love that spell. I think it's just so cool, and I love that it was Hermione who gave it to him. I love that, again, it serves its purpose in that one moment, and then we don't really ever see it again. And then, of course, I also love the Priori Incantatem, just because I love that it's one of the few spells where, like, you have to face the consequences of your actions, particularly only if you murder someone. But, like, that there is this, like, that it happens, and I love that the people who come out of the wands in that moment are like Bertha Jorkins being like, this guy killed me. Like, I just love.
I like that they talk trash. It says that when they get to him,
it.
they hiss at Voldemort.
Oh yeah, they're like absolutely incensed. So I love that. And so yeah, the Point Me spell is, I think, a really cool one that probably could have been somewhat helpful on the Horcrux hunt, but I digress. I thought it was like really clever. And it's one of the only spells that we get that's like not in Latin.
Yeah. Good point. I think if I were to create a spell, it would be a version of that one, but like combined with Jack Sparrow's compass of it points you to the thing you want the most.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a cool spell.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on now to our favorite characters. And so this is our second to last section, listeners. And so in this one, I always do a trio member and a non-trio member shout out, because obviously the trio members stick out so much. And the first two, it was Harry. I loved Harry. I'm a sucker for main characters. You know, anytime people bring up a TV show and they start talking about all these side characters, I'm like, but have you seen the main character? Last book, I think I picked Ron. This one, it's Harry again. I love him so much. I think the weight of the world on his shoulders, being thrown into this unfair circumstance. I love how chivalrous he continues to be in moments of distress and pain. I like how real his emotions are, because I'm not one of those people who's upset by how hormonal he is in book 5, but I get it. I get why you would be. And I think this one is like his moments of stressed out and anger are more tempered and more reasonable in this book. So it's like up to the line, but in book 5 crosses the line. So I love those moments as well. And it's his worst nightmare come true in this book. And he handles it well. He rises to the occasion. You know, Dumbledore says, you have been given a grown wizard's task and you have found yourself equal to it. So Harry throughout this book, obviously, easy answer. But the non-trio member, Barty Crouch Jr. Barty Crouch Jr. being my favorite character in this book. it's so fascinating. It's crazy to me that he just gets his soul sucked out and is gone at the end. Because to me, he is a Death Eater to rival like Bellatrix, because he was on the Bellatrix squad that took out the Longbottoms. He took out Moody, and somebody will say, but he did it with Wormtail. Wormtail's a handicap. What are you talking about? He did it with Wormtail. And he fooled Dumbledore, the best wizard of the age, and everybody else in that school for a year. And he was clever and funny and smart the whole way. Yeah, I think this guy was so maniacal, so skilled, such a skilled like Death Eater and wizard and character. And I enjoyed his presence. And I thought, wow, I guess she had to kill him at the end of this book. Otherwise, he would have been a problem moving forward. So he was my favorite. I mean, he even got me to like Moody, like even much more. Because when Moody goes away, I'm sad that that's not actual Moody, you know? I know he does a good job representing Moody, but it's like all that, it feels fake now. But he did incredible. So anyway, that's my favorite character.
Yeah, he's unreal. Like it's the performance, it's the acting for me. Like I'm like, you really put on a show and fooled everyone. But what I also love about him, and when I did the episode on Barty Crouch Jr., I spoke a lot about the fact that like every adult in the series, like he allows his own trauma to dictate what he does, but it's actually helpful, which is not always the case. Because I'm like, part of the reason why he put everyone on the Imperious Curse and taught Harry how to fight it, which ultimately is one of the reasons why he was able to escape the graveyard, is because he himself had been under it for so long. And so it's like, I think, and it's interesting because he's very loyal to Voldemort, but also like his loyalty is so skewed because of the trauma he experienced.
Yeah, it's self-serving. He views Voldemort as a father.
Yeah, and so it's really interesting then to like, because I'm like, why would you teach this to Harry? Like, why would you like your motivations are specific, and I get them, but I'm also like, now he can fight it off, and you're proud of him because he can. So there's like this weird like space that he lives in where he's kind of like setting Harry up and being like, you're dumb, but also you're adept at this thing that I've taught you. And yeah, it's so interesting. Yeah. I really do love him as Moody.
Julian, what about your favorite character?
So for my like favorite, my favorite trio member, I'm going to go with Hermione. And I love her because I think that I love the fact that like she gets to be like attractive. I love the fact that she decides like, I'm just going to have her shrink my teeth down. I'm going to have her fix my teeth. I love
that moment and that little giggle. She's like, yeah, I did a thing.
I just love that she and was like, yeah, you know what? Like, I'm just going to take control of the situation. And so while we're here, like, I'm just going to do what I want. I love that she is the kind of friend who is very aware of like Ron and Harry's relationship and it's still present for Harry. And like a really solid support system throughout the entirety of this whole thing. And I just think like and I love that she got to have a good time at that ball. Because if she had gone with Ron or Harry, it would have been a disaster because they both are awful and treat their dates terribly. And so she gets to go and have a good time. And also she gets to stunt on all these people at Hogwarts. And yeah, Victor Crumb is too old and that's a problem. But at the end of the day, it's like, Hermione girl, I'm glad that you got to live your best life. You deserve it.
She's like, just so y'all know, if I wanted to, I could. It's
exactly.
like the vibe it gives the whole time.
You all are fortunate that I think that doing my hair and like a little makeup is too much work. Because if I didn't, I'm taking all y'all boyfriends. And I just love that vibe exists for her. And I think it's also a good reminder for her because I think these books they give us a dichotomy of like you can either be smart as a girl or pretty, and I think that I like that we get to have someone who like embodies that, even if for a moment that both are true. And I think this book does that a lot. And then my favorite character that's not a trio member This is a hard one. And this is okay. This is this is very top of mind, but I'm just gonna go with Parvati Patil because she is like very much. I love the Yule Ball moment where she's like, someone came out to get me to dance. I'm out. Because I feel like Harry was doing what Harry does. But I think I like it when like she's like, I'm still gonna have a good time. I'm still gonna enjoy myself. And I think like she's one of these characters, and I just did a couple of episodes on her. So again, she and her sister are very top of mind. But I love that she like has this moment. And that we just get to experience anything with her because she's like one of the characters that we don't get to spend a lot of time with. And as I was thinking through and reading through this book, I was like, yeah, I just love every moment you pop up. I love how admittedly intimidating you are just by virtue of giggling. I love that that Harry can't handle it. And I'm obsessed with that. And so, yeah. So, and, you know, I think she just deserves a world because she had to put up with a moody teenage boy.
I like, so it, you know, in book 1, she's the first person to stand up for Harry when Professor McGonagall, like, comes out and says, you were flying, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And I love that moment. But it seems like, except for then, all the moments we have of her in a negative light. And then you get this chapter, and in this chapter, she stops, at least in this read through for me, she stopped being a side character and became like a person.
Yeah.
And I love, she was choosing joy, choosing to have fun, even in like, she got so excited that she got to take one of the champions. She's like, had that. But now this champion, I'm not going to be upset that this champion doesn't want to hang out with me anymore. Life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Life gives you Bobaton boys. Make some dance.
Make some Bobatons. Yeah. And it's interesting because she also, in the first book, she's also the first person who defends Neville when Draco's making fun of him. It is her who finds Hermione in the bathroom and like checks on her and then goes and relays it back to like, she's like, leave me alone. Like she has all of these moments. They're just very fast. But like, she's just like, I don't know. I just think she's that girl, and I'm obsessed with her. Because also she's like super, super loyal. But yeah, I love that she got to have this moment and got to have fun. And I just like it when like women and girls are like, I'm choosing me.
It always struck me. I covered that chapter with Laura from MuggleCast, and one of the things that we didn't like, I had never picked up on before that she pointed out was, you know, Dean or Seamus, I think it's Seamus, says to them, I can't believe you guys scored the 2 best looking girls in our year.
Dean,
and then it's proved when like they have a whole crowd of Bobaton boys around them when Harry walks back in.
Yeah.
And like
I
take comfort in, because I love Harry and I will be Harry's defender. I know it's not a good moment for him as far as this goes. My little defense of him is like, listen, he's got a lot going on. I get more mad at Ron in that moment. And it also speaks volumes. It's kind of funny to me that Harry doesn't see that and go, that's my date. He's just like, he just noticed it and keeps walking. It's like proof. He has a lot going on, people. Last one I'll call out for Parvati is, I love that she leads in the dance. Like Harry doesn't know she leads. And that movie moment is so funny when she, take my waist.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and she's like, in fact, I'm just gonna and I love in the movie moment too where she's walking down and she's like, hey girl, hey, I'm here. I love that. I'm like, live it up, girl. Yeah.
Stephanie, what about you?
Well, you both took my best. So I had Hermione. Hermione's the girl, and then for non-trio, I had Barty Crouch Jr. because he slays as Moody. And
like,
I will forever,
I agree with your
will forever die on the hill that it is fantastic that he taught all of the kids how to fight the Imperius.
Absolutely.
Like, what are you doing? You are a Death Eater. What are you doing?
I just love that was like, he's like, yeah, trauma always out. And I am feeling a little bit traumatized.
That's interesting. Okay, so as a host, sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to disagree with my guests. But one of the things you were saying, because the interpretation I had of that moment now was not he's trying to teach Harry to overcome it. He's trying to overcome Harry. That's why he keeps doing it over and over again. But I like that, like what you just said, that kind of convinced me more so your way, in that because it was done to him, because it was done to him, this is like the one thing he'll give to them. That's fascinating. I hadn't considered that one either.
That's his constant vigilance, right? He's like, you never know who you can trust. Like my own father placed me under an Imperious curse for a decade and like left me there. And the only reason that I was able to even like remotely do anything was because of our house elf, right? Who he then subsequently fired. And then in the text, as he's retelling the story, the idea of like, I got to exact revenge on my dad. I got to like, and then he was put under the Imperious curse. And what we learn from Harry, right, is like when you're under it, like you are hyper aware of your inability to do something. So you're not like, your brain isn't slack. Like you are aware of the fact that you are not in control of your own body. And so like he's a prisoner again, right? Like Azkaban for a certain amount of time. And then like you're a prisoner inside your own mind because of your dad. That is a different kind of situation. And so, yeah, I think his obsession with the unforgivable curses, particularly the Imperious curse, and his obsession with making sure that you can fight it off is like, you never know where it's coming from and you need to be ready, constant vigilance. And that's absolutely his own stuff coming up.
Yeah. Were you going to say anything else about him, Stephanie?
I don't think so. I think we covered it all. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. And so that almost wraps up our coverage of book 4, our best of book 4. But before we finish up, I have this fun little last section I like to do, that when you think of this book, what is it you think of? And this one was a little difficult for me, like just what is it that is invoked in your mind, in your heart? Because there's so much about this book that I enjoy. I know for me, like when I think of the movie, what is evoked is the fact that like the reason this is my favorite movie is not because it's a good movie. The reason it's my favorite movie is because my mom would play this for me when I was sick and she'd watch it with me. And we did this as a tradition anytime I got sick. I don't know why it was this movie. It was always this one, but that was our thing. And so it has such strong, I have such strong emotional ties to it that way. When I think of this book though, so many people shout out the fact that it's the big change in the series. It's the turning point in the series. But I know one thing that stood out to me the most on this read through is I'll think of how it ended, of everybody saying the bad has happened and more bad's coming, but we're going to rise to meet it. We're going to, we'll take it in stride and we'll keep going. And then the other one that I always think of is, I think of the Yule Ball. I think of the Yule Ball. I love that. I was this close to having a Yule Ball wedding. If it had been winter, we would have done it. But those are like the two big things that come to my mind anytime I think of this book. Love it so much. But Stephanie, what do you think of when you think of Goblet of Fire?
So I had pegged change and turning point as well. But actually, like I told you, this was the first book that I sat and read cover to cover without taking a break when I was a kid. 24 hours. I read it cover to cover, and it's a doorstop. I mean, this thing's huge.
Yeah.
But this one, as we talked about, I feel like it gives girls that permission to come into their own and to be loud and to be like unapologetically messy when they need to be. And like Hermione taking a stance with Rita Skeeter and saying, no, you're not going to do this just because you can. Like just her being that voice of, I can stand up for myself and I can stand up for my friends. Like, I think that's what this entire book is like, yes, Ron and Harry have their moment in the beginning, but like they stand up for each other. They go to bat for each other and they're loud about it. And it's just like, I appreciate that so much. Like you want friends like that.
Yeah. And I think of like Hagrid too, with him in his hut of like, you'll be all right, Hagrid. If you're waiting for universal acceptance, you're not going to get it. But look at the people who do love you. Look at the people who do care about you. Focus on that. I quoted that to somebody this week. I literally pulled out my book and I was like, there's something Hagrid says in here that you need to hear. And it was literally that quote. Like I speak this like it's gospel. Turn to fourth Harry Potter.
Yes.
34/7.
Start to page 394. Yeah.
That's fine.
But yeah, like I love the way that they stand up for each other. And
Very cool.
it is that turning point. Yeah.
Julian, what about you?
The thing that always stands out to me, and I teach this book every time I teach the class, so once a year, and we always start with this book. And the thing that stands out to me now is how at home Harry feels in the wizarding world now. Up until this moment, I think, he experiences this idea of like always wondering if the wizarding world is going to be there when he gets back, right? When he leaves Privet Drive, and and there's always questions about like, how is he going to get back to Hogwarts? Is it going to be there? And in this book, it feels to me like he's finally like found a place in it. I think having Sirius there as like the anchor, as someone, even at the beginning of the book, he's like, oh, right, like there is someone that I can write to. I'm not used to that. And then when the Weasleys send the letter to him and they say, send it back our way. And he's like, oh yeah, like this is how we do things. And so there's this very kind of transition that I think he's experienced in no uncertain terms on the grounds of simply being and feeling more at home in this world, that I think is like really, really, really beautiful. And I love, and you get the sense of that, like he's not worried about only eating a quarter of a grapefruit, right? Like he doesn't care about that because he's got some stale birthday cake upstairs underneath the floorboards, right? Like there's a world in which like he feels like he has a home in this space now that I don't think we don't get the sense from the text that he had that before. And I love that this book gives us that opportunity to kind of get a sense, even if it's fleeting, of him feeling so kind of locked into this world. And so that for me is what this invokes for me. It's like a very like kind of community home. Like I just feel like the magical world is his home.
Absolutely. I love the way you said it. Jealous that I didn't say it that way. Very good. Well, listeners, I hope you enjoyed our coverage of the best of Book 4. This has been absolutely wonderful. Julian, Stephanie, thank you again for being on this episode, for putting in all this work. We talked for 2 hours. This was a whole lot of Harry Potter. So thank you again for your efforts. Listeners, I hope you enjoyed Book 4. And next week, we will be doing our Jeopardy episode where our regular co-host Jesse is making the Jeopardy board this time. Jesse has won books 1, 2, and 3 Jeopardy. And she said, Barry, this time I want to make the board and I want you to compete. And I said, yes, ma'am. So I'm competing, and I chose as the most worthy opponent, most incredible opponent, William from the Half-Blood Pod. Looking forward to that. But again, Stephanie, if the listeners want to find you, where can they find you?
Stephaniespensieve on Instagram and TikTok.
And Julian?
Prof.jw on Instagram, Prof W on TikTok, and Critical Magic Theory wherever you cast your pods.
Beautiful. Listeners, have a wonderful week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Click. Thank you for listening to Retold. Artwork for this podcast was created by Rachel Ortlip. Music was created by Taylor Jarvis. And the Retold podcast is produced by me. That's right. I made this.